Thank you for staying with us. Definitely, after the 2015 general election, many cases were taken to the election petition tribunal talking about elections.
Well, many of these cases which bordered on the national and state assemblies terminated at the Court of Appeal, which prompted the rerun elections in some states.
Yes, credible election process is what we're looking at, and of course the role of political parties. Supreme Court, of course, looked at the governorship petitions where virtually all the elections were upheld.
Now, to many analysts, its high number of cases that went to the tribunal indicate that election in Nigeria is still far from being credible, and that is why there is a search for how to have credible elections.
Oh, sure. Well, we wish we told the INEC official that before he left. Well, we are joined this morning by the national chairman of the Young Democratic Party, ETOK, EZEKIEL, who is an architect as well.
And of course, we have him right here to talk to us about some of the, of course, how to entrench credible electoral process in the country. Now, thank you so much for joining us on this issue. Thank you.
I appreciate for having me. Thank you.
Now, what exactly is your assessment of the 2015 general elections based on the relatively high number of petitions that came off thereafter?
It's a major improvement from what we've had in the past. Probably one of the most credible that we've had so far, compared to probably the June 12 elections and all that. Primarily, I listened to everything the past guests said, primarily because of the introduction of the card readers. A time had come when things had just gone completely south, and Nigerians were very unhappy because there are two things that you have during elections. One is that you come to vote people into government. The other is that you belong to a party where you intend to have several activities and everything. But like one of the discussants said, you realize that by the time election is over, you are completely useless and irrelevant. The party goes to sleep until the next election. And during the election, a lot of things go wrong. You realize that this issue of imposition had become such a terrible thing that Nigerians had lost confidence. And as if that was not bad enough, we had a lot of violence. So the issue was, why bother? You know, one, you're not going to get the person that you want to vote for. Number two, even if you voted, your votes don't count. Number three, after the voting, you are just useless. And why bother? That accounted for something I think we should get to see clearly this morning. Nigeria has a population of about 170 million. Let's just take the official figure. Out of the 170 million, we have about 70 million registered voters. That means about 100 million have not registered, either because they are below age or, and when you do analysis of those below age, it's less than 40%, which means there's about 60 million eligible voters that have just refused for one reason or the other to go and register. That is on one hand. Call that A, 60 million. Now you come to B, 70 million that have registered. In the last elections, less than 30 million went out to vote, which means there is about 40 million registered that did not even bother, in spite of the improved system. Okay? Call that B. B is 40 million. A plus B is 100 million Nigerians eligible to vote who just couldn't be bothered about the system because they are not happy with what's going on. If we take that figure, then we'll now realize the imperatives, the need to support INEC in its drives. First, by the introduction of the card reader. I mean, every Nigerian will tell you that it was a welcome development. As a matter of fact, it came as a rude shock to politicians. I mean, I can't forget that day when they demonstrated the card readers. Look, you could see the shock on the faces of the senators. Were like, wow, now this is game up. But you see, like the good politicians that they are, they quickly ran back and did a re-strategizing, which is, look, can we discredit this card reader? Can we stop it? If we cannot stop it, where is the lacuna? Where is the loophole that we can exploit? And they did exploit that loophole. I can tell you that for a fact.
Could that be the reason we actually recorded the high number of election petition tribunal
No, that's actually not correct. We had a lower number than ever before.
Okay.
Because We had this stakeholders meeting between the new chairman of INEC and the chairman of the political parties. And I think it was one day in my life I felt very excited. One of the days. I've had many such days. The reason was that the new chairman decided to do a proper analysis of what had happened as honestly as possible. He now called us, painted a picture, did a full presentation of the issues that arose. And one of the things he came up with that got me really excited was, look, I am the chairman of INEC. I have been given all powers to arrest, to prosecute, to interrogate, to investigate, and all this. He says, I don't have the capacity, not as a person, but as an institution. Is it possible for some of these responsibilities to be taken away from me so I can concentrate on the core mandate of conducting free, credible elections? And I had to speak up. I said, sir, I find this most reassuring. We have a country where everybody wants power. Just give it to me. Just give it to me. To find a man who says, take this away from me so I can concentrate on my core mandate. Let the police do the investigations. Let them carry out the other functions. Let INEC restrict itself to the conduct of free, fair, credible elections. I found that most exciting. And I told him that though we are the youngest, as a matter, he was just welcoming us, the Young Democratic Party, YDP. That was the first meeting we were attending.
And this is about your first month as a party?
Fully, yes, effectively so.
Okay. Now, let's look at, I mean, of course, before you became a political party, you're thinking about, you must have evaluated and observed other political parties and saw some of the ideologies and the non-practice of those ideologies in the real term of the words. Now, how do you look at political parties in Nigeria, and what are their roles to credible elections?
I'll tell you this. We know of some big parties. We know of the PDP, we know of the YM, the APC, we know of them. But we have sat back and done an analysis and asked ourselves, why do we have 100 million Nigerians who would rather not identify, whereas less than 30 million identified with all the parties put together? And the reason is that all the parties, particularly the big parties, let me not be unfair to the smaller ones, have the same agenda, the same ideology, the same motivation, the same drive, and the word is power. They all want power. Not power as a means, but power as a destination. Because you need power to be able to do some things. But for them, power is the destination. Power for impunity, power for aggression, power for enrichment of self, power for selflessness or selfishness, and the word service has been lost completely. Now, somebody tells me it's easy to say that. What did the YDP do? Because one of the questions I asked was like, we have 29 parties, for goodness sake. Why do we need one extra party? And I said, YDP is what you call the alternative, the choice. We've come and we say, from our constitution, like the INEC boss tells you, everything starts from the constitution of the party. If the party says we want to conduct elections this way, that INEC cannot say no, you can't. In our constitution in YDP, we have completely abolished delegates. So every member of the party vote. What that means is that my office as the national chairman of YDP will be one of the most vacant offices, because you'll have no need to come to me. The mandate is not with me. You'll have to go back to your constituency, because if you want to be a senator, all the members of the party in your senatorial district will vote for all the aspirants in the party to get the candidate.
Now that's of course reminds me of the system that we see in the US, for instance.
Yes.
Where it's open to members of the political parties. Now, back to Nigeria, how does your party intend to make this really viable? And how would you identify who the members are? That's authentic members to be able to vote.
Can I leak a secret?
Please do.
That question could not have come except you have already registered with the YDP. I can assure you have, because that's an in-house party. Right from day one, as a little baby that we were supposed to be, we decided that every member of the party will be given what we call the EMC, electronic membership card, from day one. Everybody that registers, if you go online, the first thing is that you get a membership registration number. After the registration number, you go do your biometrics. Every member of the party is going to have a membership card, which is electronic. That's number one. Number two, the issue of use and dump. You come on election day and you vote for the party. After the election day, you are useless, does not arise, because we've gone a step further. We are projecting a membership strength within the first 1 year of about 5 million. And before 2019, we are looking at between 25 and 35 million. And the reason is simple. By the time we have the first 5 million, we're going to go to airlines like Arik, we're going to go to banks, we're going to go to hotels, we're going to and say, look, we have a membership strength of 10 million. This is our card. Can we have a deal? Would you like to be the official carrier of the party? And when they say yes, we negotiate a discount. So by being a member of the party, throughout the year, your card gives you a discount, either in the airlines or with the supermarkets or with the hotels. So you enjoy that.
Now this is actually a secret you're actually
yes,
giving.
it is a big
perhaps
secret.
The other political parties.
No. You see, something about YDP.
For now, just
yes,
before
no.
back to
For YDP, we let everybody know. Okay. Let them have it.
Okay, just before we dwell so much on YDP, and of course very encouraging strategy there. But looking at the other political parties and the issue of internal democracy, just before they even go out to say, okay, we want to do primaries, how do you think political parties can actually entrench internal democracy based on what you said earlier about the fact that most political parties actually strive to get power and they see it as a destination?
They can't do that. The reason is simple. I became the chairman of the party because I agreed from the beginning on the principles of service. I came here for me to be able to give back to my country. They borrowed money. They went through thick and thin. They went through hell to lobby, to bribe, to be able to get to be the head of the party because of what you get to have from it. If what that means, let me tell you what I stand to lose. It means that no governorship candidate is going to come to me, give me 200 million, park 10 cars at the back of my house because I have offered him a ticket. Nobody's going to come to me. So it becomes service. I'm not going to have the power. I'm not going to have this paraphernalia of office where everybody's bowing down to me because of what they intend to get from me. I'm not going to have that, which I challenge other party chairmen to say, as from today, I'm going to decentralize power, give it back to the people. They will decide who the delegates will be. Okay. None of them will do that. That is why before we even came on air, we had the largest strength, the largest number of people, because Nigerians are sick and tired of power. They want service. All right, now let's look at, politics in Nigeria is, the conversation when you bring up politics, people think of morally corrupt people, people think of people who lack ethics, people think of people who have no consistency and no structure when looking at, the people that their leadership is meant to actually inspire. And it's actually very obvious. I mean, we see PDP and the tempestuous kind of relationship they have even within the party itself. A lot of their decisions are not deciduous. Now, if you look at your political party now, we have seen that membership for political parties at a certain price for a certain sum of money. And, the moral and the character of the person is not really in question, but the weight of your purse. Now, we've seen a lot of godfatherism in politics.
it's easier said than done. I mean, you come with all your novelty ideas and your narratives, fantastic. But Nigerians will be looking at you and asking, you know, I mean, it's not here to the huru. Let's see how you play.
Let me shock you a little bit some more. You see, there's so much about the YDP that I find very exciting. Number one is that I am not one of the founding fathers. A group of young people. It's just a coincidence, because when you talk of Young Democratic Party, it's not about age. I'm 52, for goodness sake. I have 3 children. They are all graduates. So there's nothing young about this man, nothing. But a group of young people predominantly came together and said, look, let's seize our future. Let's do something that starts to reverse the trend that has been going on. And after they had put together the concept of the party, they went to step 2, searching for credible Nigerians. Why would people having a structure that is like, in fact, one of the leaders of the parties, of the other 2 big parties, called it a tsunami. You know, why would somebody having, or people having such powers, look for architect ETOK when there are the timbers and the calibers and the caterpillars and the coconuts around the political cycle? Why me? So they did a short listing of 5 credible Nigerians. When they finished the short listing, they brought us into what they had as their Congress. And it was at that point that I was privileged to come up. After they had done their online analysis and everything, they said, look, sir, you bring to the table credibility that Nigerians can relate to. Imagine people who lay such a foundation. I don't have the money. Everybody that knows me knows I'm comfortable by the grace of God, but within the political context, I'm like Boy Scout. Okay.
All right, but still talking about politics, I happened to be opportune to have be at a meeting of some people, young Nigerians. I think 1,000 of them, called the Hope Platform.
Yes.
They were online for a while on
Yes.
Facebook before they come on board, and
Yes.
you know, some of the conversations was a troubling issue of the lack of mentorship and political leadership for the younger generation, and this was one of some of the conversations that they had. And you know, when they started talking about, you know, some of the issues of politics in Nigeria, the
Yes.
zoning problem,
Yes.
the federal character problem, networking, godfatherism,
Yes.
the issue of party sponsorship
Yes.
came up.
Yes.
I do not know how you are going to do this. Suffice me to say that political parties thrive on capital and money is generated
Yes.
by certain big
Yes.
individuals.
Yes.
How is this going to work?
You see, Nigeria is moving in a direction, and the Bible talks of the sons of Issachar that could discern the signs of the times. We had credible elections in 2015. We are going to have an amazing elections in 2019. The card reader, from what we've seen in the present chairman of INEC, is going to be taken to the next level. And they've asked us to look at ways of having full electronic voting. There's a secret to it, and with time, I believe INEC will work that out. But I'm very, very happy with the direction INEC is going. What is that secret? The secret is that in 2019, it's 1 man, 1 vote, and the vote will count. It's likely going to be full electronic voting, in which case you need numbers. Okay? Now, 2 things will give you numbers. One is lots of money can buy numbers. Another is that you can evolve a strategy that gives you the numbers from the grassroots. Now, if 1 man brings out 1 billion, that's a lot of money. But if you have 10 million Nigerians, all they need is to bring out 100 naira, and they will get the same figure. Or 1 million, bring out 1,000. And I want to tell you that right from the beginning, YDP is about the richest party. That is why in the constitution of the party, it is anti-party for the governor of YDP to fund the party. It is anti-party for the governor of YDP or the president of YDP to fund the party. It is anti-party. It is also anti-party for the governor or the president to be the leader of the party. It's also anti-party for the governor or the president to hold a meeting of the party in State House and not in the party secretariat. And the governor or the president must be seated before the chairman of the party comes to sit.
Finally,
what are we saying? What we're saying is that we are reversing the trend. and making these people not our leaders but our servants, and making the people the owners of the power.
All right, just we're about to go because we do have an on your own at 8:44.
Yes.
A lot of young people have also asked. I mean, political party meetings are usually nocturnal.
Yes.
I mean, and people will say, why is that
Yes.
the specific?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a change from that trend, or your meetings are held at night as well?
A complete change from that. We do 9 to 5. We get women involved because night meetings is exclusively targeted at removing the women, and women are extremely resourceful. So the youths must be there, the women must be there, and our ideology revolves around man as the essence of government and governance, and service as the destination and not power. YDP has come with a new agenda, an alternative and a choice. And
now, talking about agenda, in fact,
yes.
that actually inspires my interest, because you mentioned a while ago that the people are usually disconnected from their political leaders immediately after elections.
Completely.
Now, are you concerned really that usually political parties don't set a clear agenda and clear vision as to how to improve the lives of people?
That is what sets YDP apart from any other party. In our document, beginning to the end, is the word people. As a matter of fact, we are looking forward to shutting down all the oil wells in this country, because the greatest resource of Nigerian youth are the most resourceful globally. Go anywhere in the world, they excel. Let's come back, tap these youths. That's why we talk in terms of responsibility transfer, which is one of the mandates I was given. Please get all the old people, in quotes, to see the need to start to groom the young people so that we can have responsibility transfer, and the young people can start to take responsibility for the future. And that is why people like me at my age and a lot of people who are on the older side are saying it makes sense. Let's come to this party. And we're not looking for anybody who is going to give us 5 million. No. We're saying go online, register, give us your 1,000 naira, your 500 naira. That's what we want, the numbers. And let us reverse the trend in Nigeria. We want to appeal the 100 million Nigerians who are sick and tired of the system. Let the other 20 million that belong to APC and PDP and the rest, we don't want to disturb them. Please go ahead. But I can assure you that even those people are saying the light has come. And they are coming to YDP.
I do remember a quote. Somebody says, you know, politics is about a group of people who come together, sell you their mandate, you buy into it, and then they take at least 25 years of your life and your generation, because that is what we see in Africa. Yes. The similarities in the failure of government amongst African states sometimes have been related to political, you know, structure that has failed. If you look at your political party, for instance, and you look at the structure of the party, of course, you look at, you know, we do know that parties have national working committees, etc. And coming to your party, what is your mandate for, you know, defaulting members? Because we see a lot of impunity within political parties, and they continue to be the examples of parties even when they have failed.
The moment you make power the essence, which is the thread that runs round all other parties, you cannot eliminate that. Power is the essence. And the power game is a game that runs on money, on intimidation, on certain principles. We've come with an alternative. We make service. We make man the essence. Because we love man, we don't want him to be exposed to electoral violence. Because we love man, we don't want to deprive him of his rights. Because we care about man and the people. And let me probably end on this note. One of the greatest disservice we've done to Pa Awolowo is failing to see his essence. We see free education, but that was not. I read a book, an article about Awo that just changed my mind completely and made me one of his greatest admirers. Awo believed in the deifying of man. He believes in the exaltation of man, and everything he did, including free education, came out of his desire to make man the object and the essence of everything. We are taking under that umbrella. The founding fathers, Abubakar Balewa, all of them thought in terms of man and service and not of power.
Okay,
so we are the youth.
I want to interject here because we have just 1 minute, and it comes back to education, which you said. There is really the misunderstanding of what political education and political correctness is. A lot of young people don't seem to know that. Now, of course, in the United States and certain parts of, you know, the Caribbean, the education and political understanding starts from the institutions.
Yes.
You even see them being a hybrid of young people are mentored and inspired to become leaders, you know, in the corridors of power. How is this going to be part of your mandate?
We've networked with organizations like the Gemstone, like the Guardians of Nations International, for the grooming and educating and enlightening constantly of our younger generation. That's number one. Number two, we have decided that within the context of the party, you cannot vie for any office except you've gone for a training for that office. As an aspirant, you will not even be allowed until you've got the certificate. If you want to be a member of the House, you need to know what the House is all about, what lawmaking is all about, what the Constitution is all about. You must understand that. You must go through it, pass it before you can become an aspirant on our platform. And at the end of the day, all they're asking that, how do I become a member? Is very simple. ydp.ng, you go there online, but we are coming with other medias. But before I end, let me thank the media houses, because what we've received has been amazing, particularly from AIT. This is the highest level of corporate social responsibility. For YDP, it's not about party. It's about a new Nigeria, an alternative, because the light has come.
All right.
And thanks to AIT.
Thank you so much. It's clearly a paradigm shift, and of course, considering all of the dynamics and all of the complexities in the political environment, we're seeing that there are really new ways to move the democratic process forward. Thank you so much for talking to us. We've been taking a look at credible electoral process, the role of political parties, and we've had the national chairman, Young Democratic Party architect, ETOK EZEKIEL. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Well, finally, some people will say political parties that will work their talk, or maybe let's just wait for time to tell. Well, Muyiwa Afolabi is up next. Stay with us.